Have you ever felt like your prayers are whispers lost in the chaos of life? It's a sensation many of us encounter, a feeling of being unheard amid the cacophony of our daily struggles and the wider world's noise. This very human experience echoes through time, from ancient scripture to our modern reality, where the art of persistence in prayer remains as relevant as ever. Today we turn to an unexpected teacher, a widow from the time of Christ, whose story inspires us in our own spiritual walk. Did you know that in biblical times, widows were often seen as the most helpless and ignored members of society? Yet, Jesus chose to highlight a widow's story to teach us about perseverance. Her relentless pursuit for justice against all odds is a profound lesson that transcends centuries, promising to illuminate the power of tenacity and faith in the divine, even when we feel at our weakest. In a time much like our own, where justice often seems out of reach and the cries of the destitute go unheard, there was a widow in a parable told by Jesus. Her plight was one shared by many, ignored by society, lacking a husband's protection, and having to fend for herself in an unforgiving world. Back then, there was no safety net, no social security. Widows could be easily exploited and overlooked. Yet this widow, with no power or status, becomes an unlikely hero in a story that teaches us about the power of persistence. Faced with the daunting task of seeking justice against her adversary, she approaches a judge who neither fears God nor respects people. In a society where her voice held little weight, this widow did something remarkable. She persisted. Time and again, until the judge, worn down by her relentless pursuit, conceded simply to be rid of her constant plea. This tenacity, this refusal to be silenced, is the first key aspect we delve into today. Imagine you're facing a situation where all odds seem stacked against you. Perhaps it's a health challenge that refuses to relent, a professional goal that feels unreachable, or a personal project that keeps hitting walls. Like the widow, you've knocked on doors only to find them shut time and again. But consider the possibility. What if, like her, your constant efforts are not in vain? The modern equivalent of the persistent widow might be someone tirelessly advocating for a noble cause, raising their voice until it finally echoes through the halls of change. The message here is clear. Do not underestimate the strength of steadfast prayer and action. In the face of difficulties, we learn from the widow that perseverance isn't merely an option, it's a divine directive that can lead to breakthroughs beyond our comprehension. The widow's story encourages us to stay the course, to press on, even when the world seems indifferent, and to know that our relentless pursuit, paired with faith, possesses power. In our first segment, we embrace the widow's unwavering resolve as she stood in defiance of her societal insignificance. Now let us turn our gaze to the one who received her petitions, the unjust judge. In a stark portrayal, Jesus contrasts this figure with divine justice, illustrating the transformative power of persistent prayer. The scriptural narrative does not shy away from presenting the judge as corrupt, acknowledging no higher moral authority or concern for his fellow man. Yet even he could not remain unmoved by the widow's tenacity. This depicts an essential truth. If persistence can sway even the most callous of hearts, how much more will it touch the compassionate heart of God? But how does this apply to us? How often do we feel that our prayers are met with silence, as if heaven itself has turned a deaf ear? At times it may seem like we are speaking into an abyss. Yet, here is where our faith is called to rise above doubt. To underscore this message, imagine hearing from someone just like you, who once stood on the brink of relinquishing hope, but chose instead to persevere in their appeals to God. Picture a resonant voice sharing, "My every plea felt like a pebble tossed into an ocean, but I continued to pray. And in that steadfastness, I found patience, and within that patience, a divine response." This moving testimony tells us that divine delay does not equate to divine denial. While the judge in the parable capitulated to cease the widow's bother, God responds out of a desire to bring about good for those who tirelessly seek Him. We receive assurance that our continuous prayers are more than mere words. They are the echoes of a soul that touches the heart of God. Let this comfort those who now face the seemingly unmovable obstacles of life. Whether you are wrestling with personal hardships, societal injustices, or the inner turmoil of doubt, remember that persistence in prayer is not just about changing your circumstances, it's about engaging with the Almighty. Through your steadfast pleas, you forge a relationship with the one who can truly bring about change. In your endurance, you become a testament to the power of faith that does not falter, a beacon that guides others from the shores of despair to the horizon of hope. As we delve further into the parable of the persistent widow, let us reflect on a crucial aspect that resonates deeply with many: the power of faith in prayer. Consider for a moment the last time your faith was truly tested. When the wait for an answer seemed endless, did you begin to question if your prayers were in vain? It is in these times of trial that our faith is refined. The widow's story serves as a profound lesson in the endurance of faith. Her unyielding spirit in the face of delay is at the heart of her narrative. Jesus presents this parable not just as a lesson in persistence, but as a call to maintain faith when it seems most difficult to do so. To fortify this message, imagine someone reflecting on their own spiritual journey. I knew what it was to cry out in the silence of the night, yet it was in the quiet persistence, the unspoken trust in God's timing, that my faith grew stronger. Now, let's take a moment to engage directly with you, the viewer. Have you ever felt like your dedication to prayer has been put to the test? Think back to those times when you stood firm in your convictions, even when the answers you sought were delayed. How did you keep your faith from faltering? Reflect on your journey and consider sharing your insights with the Divine Light community. Jesus urges us to be like the widow, always to pray and not lose heart. Her example speaks to the essence of unwavering belief, the kind that doesn't cease when faced with the silent heavens. Rather, it is a faith that holds on to the promise of God's perfect timing and enduring love. Let this reflection be an invitation to not only affirm your own experiences, but to inspire others with your story. Share with us. When has your patience in prayer been rewarded with the profound awareness of God's presence in your life? Your shared stories become a tapestry of encouragement, woven together by the common thread of persistent faith. In the parable of the persistent widow, we are also taught about the very nature of God, His justice, compassion, and willingness to hear His children. Unlike the unjust judge in the story, God doesn't delay His response to make us suffer, but uses our persistent prayers to shape us, to align our hearts with His will. Imagine the widow going to the judge day after day. Her persistence isn't just about getting what she wants. It's about developing a relationship, a determined, unwavering connection that refuses to be ignored. This unwavering stance in prayer is a mirror reflecting our trust in a God who is all-knowing, whose timing is impeccable, even if it stretches beyond our understanding. Visualize a tree, its roots growing deep and wide, not overnight but over years of reaching for sustenance, just as our persistent prayers deepen our faith over time. Using graphics, let's depict the tree's growth rings, representing each repeated prayer. With each layer, the tree, and thus our relationship with God, becomes stronger, more resilient. Relate this to the daily struggles and the silent battles we face. When we persist in prayer, we are acknowledging that we aren't alone in our fight. There is divine companionship, an omnipresent support that guides us through every hurdle. Through persistence, we may not change God's mind, but we open ourselves to change, becoming conduits of His will rather than simply recipients of His blessings. So as we wrap up our exploration of this parable, consider how your own persistent prayer is not only a request for aid, but a testament to your relationship with the Creator. It is an act that says, I trust in your plan and your perfect timing, no matter the wait. Reflect on how this understanding can transform the way you approach challenges, knowing deeply within that your persistent prayers echo in the heavens, even when they seem to be met with silence here on earth. As we bring our journey through the parable of the persistent widow to a close, let's consider her unwavering resolve as an emblem of hope and a beacon guiding us in our spiritual persistence. The lessons drawn from this ancient text remind us that perseverance in prayer is far more than a practice. It is a profound expression of faith and trust in the Lord's perfect timing and will. The echoes of this widow's determination resound today, inspiring us to hold fast to our prayers, knowing they reach the ears of a just and compassionate God. Now we turn to you, fellow seekers of divine light. Take a moment to ponder the mountains in your life, those seemingly insurmountable challenges that you face. How could the act of persistent prayer shape your journey, nurturing a relationship with God that is robust and alive? We invite you to share your reflections and experiences in the comments below, to join the conversation that helps strengthen our collective faith. Remember to subscribe to Divine Light for more content that seeks to illuminate modern life with the wisdom of ancient Christian teachings. Share this video with others who might find solace and strength in its message. And look forward to our upcoming explorations, where we'll continue to seek understanding and inspiration for living a faith-filled life in today's world. May your prayers be persistent, your faith unwavering, and your spirit attuned to the whispers of the divine. Until we meet again, walk in the light of His love, and may the peace of Christ be with you always.